Okay. All right, I'm live. I'm sorry, man. I just can't get things figured out with this computer stuff. Let's see if you guys are on board and have a good connection too. Got my pile of brushes. So let's see. We've got Michelle. That face says it all. Hi, yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's been quite a morning. I thought that I could. Sorry, I'm moving some tools with my feet. I thought that I could improve the image a little bit. You know, the auto exposure on this camera. I'm using a Logitech HD Pro C920, right? Okay, just in case you wondered. And the everything is auto on it. So, you know, I move out of the frame, the exposure changes. I move on the frame, the exposure changes. When I'm trying to show little brushwork, that's really annoying because I'm looking at what I think are the live colors. Anyway, I got to update my equipment. I found software that let me go manual, and so I switched to my other computer. I tested it last night. It worked great last night. I booted it up this morning. It didn't work. Okay. I'm sure a million of you have had that experience. You know, technology, we're so at the mercy of it. Hey, Atelier 63. I got to know how to say that username. I've checked out your channel. I love your crafty artwork, the stuff that you show. Atelier 63. Silence elle cray. I have no idea how to say that. Hello, my teacher. Thank you very much. I'm not sure I'm worthy to be called that, but thank you. You have an echo. Do I really have an echo? Is it echoing in the audio? Maybe I should. Let's see. Let's see if we can resolve that. What kind of a camera do you have to do this? I'm using a Logitech, just a simple Logitech webcam, C920. You can Google C920. And so that's what I'm doing. Thank you for your video color theory, says Pablo Barrios. And it's not echoing for me. Okay. Good. I think we're good on this end. I don't hear echo. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that the technical issues are at least like they've been. So I want you to know that I am going to update my equipment so that I can be more proficient in getting the streams up and going with consistent image quality. That's very important to me that, you know, when I move the camera, you're able to see. But I'll keep an eye on the monitor, make sure that you can see what I'm looking at. I'm wearing this white shirt. This happens to be the only white shirt that I've got. So you get to see my Father's Day present from a couple of years ago. So these used to be the actual size of my kids' hands right here. They did some artwork for me. Okay, the echo left. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate you telling me that. Sylvie of France, and I like your very good work. For me, you are the best teacher. Thank you. That's such a nice compliment. Thank you. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to go through this whole painting, and I think of this process of, concluding my painting, finalizing the way everything looks. I think of it as like a sort of compression. You know, when people record music, it has to go through final compression. What I'm doing right now while I talk is popping the lids off my paints. And so music goes through a final compression where, you know, a skillful ear goes through and listens to all of the different tracks and makes sure that they complement each other, and that while things are separate and, you know, separately identifiable, they're not so separate that it feels like two radios playing at the same time. And so, you know, for me, a painting is the same way, same principle, where I work hard to get all of my separation in colors, but then I have to go through and see if that separation is too extreme or if it's just right. I'm just showing you my paints. Okay, so these are the paints that I'm using. And so I've got phthalo blue, I've got bright yellow, magenta, black, red, phthalo green, pure white, and that would be maroon is what they call it at the paint store where I get it. And I never like to, sorry, I'm shaking the camera around while I put it back in the holder here. Hang on, sorry. Okay. Sorry for the shaking around. And so these are all just a pigment from the paint store, and I asked them, will you just put that in an ultra deep base satin sheen? That's how I get all my paints. And it's just one pigment, and I don't get any of the pre-mixed colors. I just ask for manual formulas. And so if it looks like that, then it's going to work like I use them. I never feel like it matters too much to get the exact shade of red, the exact shade of yellow, because I do so much mixing. I end up with a whole bunch of intermediate colors. Anyway, if you got the exact shade right, but then mixed a tiny bit differently, it undoes, it completely undoes the getting exact, which it's impossible to mix exactly the same each time. So it's not worth trying to exactly match these colors. Just know that I use these primaries for all of my color. What I'll do first is tie this together. So this was this is right at the beginning of the picture, this blue spot here. And so I'm thinking that I like the blue clouds, but I need that to tie into the rest of this. So what I'll do first is maybe take some black and put some of this space going right up in here. And I guess I'll just have to flick it with a couple little white dots for stars. So we're going to go up here, put a little bit more black. I don't want to put it on too heavy because I want this to dry fast. It's just a touch up. And I'm doing this so that I can continue my background, my space background across here. And then I'm going to tie this blue cloud to this right here. So the way I'll do that is take my blue, and let's see if I can do this. Maybe a smaller brush. This is kind of a touch-up thing. So I'm going to move the camera closer so that you get a good view of what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to put this up here. And if we get a lot of white in the picture, then that's why I wore the white shirt, you know, so the exposure will stay. This camera really favors bright exposure. I don't like it. Not in auto mode. Okay, so we're going to go over here. How about right there? Right there. So I've got black on there and blue, and the way I'm going to touch this up is with my smaller brush. And we'll blend the blue into the red. I'm going to make this one cloud so it doesn't feel like this needs to be seen over here as well. It's just going to be part of this cloud. This is all going to be one big multicolored cloud that's flowing together. And so this is going to be my attempt to creatively tie this all together. So I need to gradually change from blue to this red orange. So in the middle, I'm going to need purple. So I put red and blue in there, and I'm adding white to it. Here's some white, and I'm going to use plenty of paint. I don't need to go real easy on the paint because that's just going to make it dry super fast and be harder for me to manage what I'm doing here. And so why don't I grab a little bit of water and kind of tidy up the edges of this cloud while I'm up here. There, see, now it kind of finishes off that edge and makes it flow into the background a little bit more nicely. Okay, blue here. So I'm going to try to empty out this brush. Smaller brush is easier to empty out my colors too. So I do a quick swish in the water, and I just dunk it in there, swish it a couple times, and then wipe it on this towel. And then it's easier for me to quickly grab new colors and not have that black mixing with my blue up in here where I want it to be brighter. So here I've got my brighter blue, and I don't feel like I need to do a lot of detail in here, so I'm just going to do a couple little puffy patterns. And I've talked, previously, I'll be doing more of it today, about just blending my dark edge color. I blend down my light color. So here's some light color I'll throw in there in the lighter spots. Anywhere I have lighter color, I'm just going to blend that toward the edge of my cloud, and then do the opposite. Anywhere I have a dark color, I'll just blend that toward the inside of the cloud. So I'm just doing my best to real quickly put some gradients on here so that it gives the impression of a cloud that's glowing. And so you can see I stay off of each of these little blocks of light color has a sharp edge on this side, but then I'm blending that outer edge toward the edge of the cloud. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to stop there, maybe just do a couple little quick brush strokes over it to soften it a little bit so that it's not like a big eye catcher. It's not really what the picture is about. And then what I'll do is start blending that color to the orange. So I'm going to go blue here. Now I'm going to start using magenta, I think, because when this mixes with the red, it's going to get real gray in the transition. So I'm going to use my most vivid purple in this transition in order to try to compensate for a loss of color that I foresee happening. So I'm just adding purple wherever I see these darker colors. And then I'm going to start adding my red and yellow in here. So let's take red and add it under this purple, and white, of course. So I need that in there. And I love doing these gradients on clouds. These gradual changes of color are so they just feel so magical to me. This is why I love painting them. When I was a kid, it feels like all I did was just look at nature and imagine doing all the things that I couldn't do, like jumping around on the clouds like it was a big playground. I feel like that's my version of heaven. That's my version of heaven, is I get to bounce on the clouds. It's funny because it's such a stereotypical view of it, but that would be awesome if you could jump around on clouds. I always look at all the depth that's up there in the sky. Okay, so all I want to do, I'm not worrying too much about all the exact details of the clouds. I'm just putting a few little, I just kind of curl the strokes of my brush a little bit to get some little swoopy cloud shapes. But what I'm really concentrating on is this gradual change from the blue to the red. So in here, I'm going to go even more red. I'll rinse out my brush to get a little bit less blue in it and add some white. And I'm going to try to stay off of that bluest area now so that I don't get the brush all loaded up again with the purple color, because in here I want to start getting real red. There's a darkening effect whenever you mix colors that are very different. Paint gets darker because the two colors are removing each other's color. And so, oh yeah, here we've got exposure issues. That's way right. So I'm going to I'm gonna do a little trick here. Yeah. That's why I have this paper handy so that I can adjust exposure. I really want you to be able to see this, so we're gonna go like this. There we go. That's more lifelike color right there. That piece of paper is just to keep this camera from blowing out the color. Okay. So whenever you mix colors that are very different, it's good to just plan on adding some white in there because it gets darker. And so sometimes that's an effect that you're trying to get, so it works in your favor. But in this case, I'm not trying to have it be darker where the red meets the blue so much. I just want a smooth transition. So all this white in here helps to make the gradual transition of lightness instead of a very sudden. It's where it gets light, then darkest in the middle, then light again, where I have my other color. Okay, so now I'm just going to blend this up in here. I'll grab some water, and this is starting to dry. I don't feel like I need a ton of detail in here, just a soft blend. There we go. Now that feels like it's kind of part of that cloud right there. And so then I'll rinse out my brush again. Let's see what you guys are saying. I'm looking at the chat right here. Joe has lots of practice. Yes, I do. Thank you, Teresa. Angliano, I appreciate your vision, perspective, amazing talent, skill. Thank you, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. The clouds are always so impressive. Thank you. The white is where I always go overboard. Yeah, well, you should try working in oil because, you know, oil, it's like you can't add enough whites. There's something, I don't know what the difference is. I don't know why it's so different, but it is. The oil, the white just gets overtaken by any colors you put on it. So while the color theory is the same for me when I'm working with oil, I just have to remember that wherever I add color, it's going to overtake the white a lot. Okay, now I'm going to add yellow in here and start getting nice and bright in the middle of this cloud where I want it to have that glow effect. And then let's get out of the yellow and bring more of the red into here around this edge. I'm going to grab a little more white. My paint kind of dried there. So I'm going to add a little white to this red and try to just do kind of one final pass on these colors to get it to gradually change from the blue to the red. It was kind of a grayish color from adding the white. And so that's why I added all that purple in there too, because you can see how much color I lose in that transition. Okay, I kind of like the way that looks, so I'm gonna pull off there. Let's move this over so that I can keep working. And then I'm going to do this, finish out this top cloud real quick. We're going to go like this, put some red, and I'm thinking we need some shadow in there. So let's just put blue. Blue and red make a much grayer violet than magenta and red. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch of blue and red up here and just make this cloud kind of shadowed. This one's going to be more of the darker purple color. I don't need it to be real detailed. I just want to add a shadow. When I was looking at this picture, you know, I'm just trying to keep the whole picture in mind now as I go across this. And something I don't love about it is how it's just bright across the whole thing. Everything is just grabbing attention. And so I'm going to strategically darken things that don't need to be the center of attention on this. So let's grab some of that white to lighten that so that I can put some red in here. And then the blue and the red kind of darken when they touch each other. So that'll give me a nice shadow under this cloud. Grab a little more of that red. There we go. Oh yeah, I kind of like how this, look. I like how this overlaps and that bright goes back behind. That's fun. I want to bring more of this darker red across here. There we go. Yeah, let's just bring those across. Have some overlaps. And so then I'm going to come down here and add more of my red. I just want a smoother transition here. So here's my red and white again. So I don't want to add so much white that it loses color. I just want to blend this a little bit. Blend it more down here. I want this to gradually move into these colors here. Like this, okay. Then it gets yellower there in the middle. This is where I really want it glowing. So let's see if that's probably not wet enough to blend anymore. Oh yeah, it is. Look, what do you know? So I'm going to add some red, yellow, and white to this middle to really get it glowing. And now that I've got this white piece of paper, you can see how not bright the clouds actually are. I'm looking at the monitor screen, and this, what you're seeing now is a lot more true to life on this picture. So I want this really to be a bright, glowing cloud. So I'm going to add quite a bit more white to this. And I only need a tiny bit of hue shift. Hue shift meaning yellower where it's brighter. I just need a tiny bit in order for that to look like a glow effect. So I don't need to add a whole ton of yellow to here. Anywhere I have these lighter colors, just like I said before, I'm just going to put a few little dots of lighter color so that I can just kind of blend the outer edge of those. Just blend that outer edge so that at a glance, it just feels like perspective of the puffs of the cloud kind of wrapping around. I'm just going to leave that kind of messy because I don't mind the look of it. Then I'm going to put more red over in here. And so this is where I used the black and red. And so let's see if I can just scoot this over just a bit. Now I'm looking at my exposure. I want you to have a good image. Okay. We're going to put black on this edge and red. That's going to give me a real very gray, red, violet color. And I use this color a lot when I'm putting shadows on dirt or rocks. It ends up being a real nice color for that, especially if the rocks are like we have so much of here in Arizona, where I live. Then the shadows, they can have a lot more of a purple color because of all the red that is in the mix. I'm gonna add some more red. Now look when I add the red, how it darkens. It hits anytime you mix different colors, it has this darkening effect. When you mix other things that are not like overlapping particles, it doesn't have that darkening effect. When light mixes, it doesn't do that. Okay, now I'm just putting an edge on this so that I have a more three-dimensional cloud. And the way I'm going to bring this bright color over to that edge is putting some brighter red in here where I can mix some white with it, get a lighter, brighter color, then put a few little spots. So I just apply first, mix after. Let's put more of that color around the edge here, just little tiny shapes. If I want a real big looking cloud, it's nice to have small shapes. Small shapes in an object is a an effective way a lot of the time for making it look big and far away. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just look at all the right edges of these and just do a quick little brush stroke. I'm holding my brush like this, hitting it with that corner right there, just going through and just grabbing that right side edge so that I get gradients that go from the dark to the light, and it leaves that sharper edge on that left side so that it looks like overlapping little puffs on the cloud. It creates a texture. You know, even if each little detail, if I identify one little stroke, I might not look like it and say, well, that looks just like a little puff on a cloud. But you can see how now I have kind of the rolling texture of the edge of the cloud. I'm going to get a little bit brighter red and white, and put some brighter red in here. And maybe I'll get a little more white, get brighter than that. Let's do this. Let's make one area opened up more, like that. There we go. So the small brush is definitely a better tool for getting this detail, but you know, you don't have to have all that detail. It's if you love working the details and you really like the effect that you get out of doing that. Now I'm thinking that I'm going to go blue again. So I'm going to go blue in here to create a shadow. I'm going to go magenta on there because I just think it'll look good. And I'm going to bring this back over here a little bit. Let's get the exposure. Let's get the exposure down. Yeah, let's go like that. Okay. And I want to make sure that we're optimized for viewing on this. Let me scoot over here a little bit. I want you to really see what we're doing with this cloud. Now that this is drying, I'm looking at this. Now that this is drying, this is turning real dark in here. See that? So I'm going to try to catch that before it dries all the way so that I have a more smooth and gradual transition into that. So maybe some red and white in there. Let's see, it did dry on me a little bit. Okay, let's go here. It's still wet enough down here though that I can blend it. Let's grab some of that blue, grab a little bit of red. It was a little too red. The camera amplifies the problem. It's not as extreme. You know, you can really see a colored, like you could see, I just got rid of it. You could see a real colored halo around that area. But it's kind of cool. A camera can work so much in my favor and help me see those things because of that exact thing. It amplifies that thing. It's only the only reason I call it a problem is because I don't want to see it. It's not because a painting needs to be that way. You know, I think a lot of the time I end up pressuring people unintentionally into a quote unquote best practice in painting, you know, or something like that. It's never my intention. So I just see what I like and what I don't like in my own work. And okay. There, I wanted to really have that going behind. I like the look of that. Let's do a little one in here too. Let's grab some of that. Grab some of that color and put it in there. Meanwhile, this is drying. Here, I got distracted. And let's go here. Put a little bit of bright color because this little bit of bright color is what makes this big cloud go behind. There we go. It's what makes it go behind this overhead one right here, you know. Blend that way, blend that way. I'm just blending the right edge. Okay, let's go down here now. So I'm going to put red and blue in here. I put magenta already so that I get some more vivid purple here in the middle. But then I'm going to blend it into these colors. And here's where I don't feel like I need a lot of detail. I just need interesting light and shadow color. That's all. I just want to see good light and shadow. So there's some more red, and I'm going to put some more blue just so I can really blend this out. There's some white, and see what happens if we just start blending this here. Maybe give the brush a quick wipe on the rag, get some of that excess purple out of it before I go over here and hit this red. Like this, come down right here to the top of the mountain. Oh, that mountain. That thing has been a losing battle for me. I still have those. Okay, we got shadow. No, that's the wrong way to say that, you know, losing battle. I've got goals, you know, I've got things I want to accomplish. And while it is an interesting looking mountain and it definitely has great things to contribute to the picture, I don't want to throw out the good with the bad. I just didn't arrive at my goal. That's all. That's the only thing I'm talking about. Let's bring that shadow color up in here. Just blend it right up into these edges. Okay, now let me get that bright red and add those same little accents of the light popping out from behind the shadow around the edges. Okay, grab some of this light color. Now I'm going to blend right here toward my outer edge. Anywhere I'm moving toward an outer edge, that's where I'm blending these little dots of light color. Let's grab some of this darker. I want a little more shadow in there. This is the underside of a cloud, so. Okay, I'm going to get a little more of that red and try to do a good job of transitioning into this more yellow middle. Let's put some shadows in here so we don't just have like a big round. I don't want just a perfectly round cloud. I ended up kind of getting that. Let's go over here, mix these. Put some little dark spots are deep areas. You know, when it's blue against orange, the blue is going to go back. The orange will come forward. So anywhere I want cloud to kind of pop out, I just put some red, put some white, like this, and then just blend it back. And that pops forward out of the cloud just by being that warm color on top of the cool blue color. It pops forward like that. I'm going to try adding a little more color, see if I can get it to be more vivid. It's on top of blue, and so it's getting a little bit stirred into that, so it kind of grays the color, but I think I can still get the effect. We'll put a tiny bit of yellow in there. There, now we've got a couple little spots emerging out of this cloud. I don't know if the yellow really helped at all. It probably just made the color more gray since it's got blue in it. So probably just red is the better effect in this case. Okay, I'm almost done with this cloud. I'm gonna add some little more white in here, like this, a little white here. Just doing this to soften it. You know, as that paint gets kind of tacked up, it's not as thin as it was when I first put it on. That's the best time to do that. That technique right there that I just did. There, now I can kind of grab this color here. Let's get some water and take this, pull it right over to here. Get that cloud to connect a little more. Got a drip. Got a drip right there. What are you thinking here? Brighter cloud on the edge? Would that be cool, or should I just leave it shadowed? I think I'll make just another maybe little thing sticking out of the shadow here, but not a lot. I like Meteor Mountain. Mountain shoot. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Sorry, I got the camera way up close to me. Mount Shoe. Okay, like Meteor Mountain. Okay, Quarantine Mountain. Yeah, well, that would be appropriate. I am experiencing that as I make this mountain. I see the copper. Cool. Yeah, good ideas. This painting needs a name. It does. Isn't copper blue when it's not touched yet? I don't know. But yeah, this does have all those colors. Huh? It's kind of got the patina color, the copper. Almost done with the cloud? Yes, almost done with the cloud. Okay, let's get to work. But I just want this to be a real great fit for the mountain, you know. Okay, so let's go like this. And let's put a little more red in here. I think I'll just pile some red onto this. Blend it into that purple. Maybe pile some of that in here, coming up over this mountain. These are more shadowed clouds right here, down lower. So I don't really need to add more bright color. I'm just going to put some white in there. Let's do this. I've got kind of some darker, more pink clouds up here. Like this, okay, put some white there. All I need is the color. You can see that just putting the color in place really makes the feel of the cloud. It's not doing all of the tiny little details. So then your next question might be, well, then why are you burning up all your time doing those tiny details? Because I have to. Let's do this and just soften it. There, we've got some diversity in these cloud colors now. I like that. Maybe a little more blue in here. Let's do a little more blue. We'll go bring that right down here. And I think a little magenta so that doesn't look kind of greenish. Then add some white so it's not extremely dark. It's got that light, misty, cloudy look still. There, now we've got a deeper shadow going back there. Okay, let's scoot this camera out. All right, let's look at the rest of the picture. Let's put our exposure regulator to this. Look what happens, man. It just blows out the color. I hate that. hate this stupid camera. Let's put that on there. Okay. Now, this needs help. This needs help in here. So what I'm going to do is, I like this cloud coming across, but feels incomplete to me. So I'm going to do a quick blend coming over to here. Like this. Just make that disappear right into there. There we go. Oh yeah, I like that lighter color. That's nice. Maybe a little darker. We'll go a little more red and blue on that one. Okay. Right there, a little more red. Because once I get this to really blend into this, to just disappear into that shadow, I like the effect of it just coming out of that shadow. That's what I'm trying to go for, is the effect of this cloud just emerging right out of that shadow, and then it's got these little bits of glowing cloud behind it. So then I'm thinking I'm going to take a little bit of this here. I think this just came to me. I think it'll tie this in better too, if this maybe just has a little bit of the black space coming down, like a little bit in here, maybe like that. Negative space there, just a little dot of black where it's kind of breaking apart back there. Maybe a little dot in here, like that. Little details like that, I feel, really go far. You know, let's put a couple in here like that. Now I've got real dark space. I'm going to take this over here. Let's move over to this side. And now I don't love this area, so I always look at parts of the painting that I don't love in order to add other things. Man, the water makes me thirsty. Good thing it's Thursday. Oh. Good one. All right. So I'm thinking in here, I'm going to rinse out a bigger brush so I can move a little quicker. I'm thinking it'll really help my perspective and my composition to go across this area that I don't love. Right here, I'm always looking for the areas that are my least favorite, because that's where I'm going to put things over the top. That's where I think foreground is going to pay off the most, is across the areas that I don't love. So, you know, I might be jumping the gun a little bit to fix everything I don't like, which I do have a habit of doing. If I'm just going to put foreground objects over the top of it, then maybe it's wise just to wait, you know. All right, we're going to put this coming over here. Leave the bottom a little darker. Let's put some purple in there. Let's bring this cloud over this way. I love the way that looks, though, that purple on top of this turquoise. Yeah, we'll just do something like that. Let's leave those light colors in there, and then we'll come over here and maybe make a little bit further down on this cloud. Let's grab some more of this dark color, blue, red. Just evening these out. You know, I want this to be the same as this, so I just trade places like this. I've got the cloud coming down behind the cloud. Now I'll grab some of this dark color and put it across the bottom. Make it come right over here, like this. I love the blue-orange contrast, so I think it's going to be cool to have lots of that visible. Just put this going right over into here, like that. Now maybe some purple in there. Purple where this comes over and meets up with these colors. And then some red in there. Let's add white. And then just blend it all together. Right here. I love it when it looks like it's just coming out of the mist there. Now this mountain, here's something that I overlooked when I was doing this mountain. And that is that the snow, I hate to do this, the snow and the clouds, but I can't not do it now because it's an issue of less believability. It makes my picture less believable. So this is where I need to make things look less separate. The snow is white, and that would not be. If the light was shining across hitting clouds at this brightness level, it would not illuminate the snow to that pure white. I just can't live with that. So I'm going to need to, and you're going to see the difference when I darken that mountain so that the snow is consistent with the brightness of the cloud, ties it right together, looks like a more natural, realistic environment rather than the superimposed effect, like I opened up Photoshop and put things I liked on top of each other. Yeah. I do go back and paint stuff a lot. Thank you, Frederick. I think I lose a lot of viewers doing that. Maybe, but I'm sorry, I don't have a choice. It's ingrained in me. I can't chase the views more than I chase the painting. So what I've got to do is adjust this color. So I'm just going to grab another big brush, I think. No, I'll use this brush. This one moves fast. And I've got to darken this snow. I've got to make it like the mountain. So now my snow color needs to be something more like the orange of my cloud. So we're going to go like this, add lots of red. Let's test it up here. Lots of red here. Let's grab a little bit of yellow too. A little bit of yellow, and we'll throw in a few little highlights in here while we're at it. The brightest part of this cloud will look good if I just kind of light it up right here. This will be the snow. This will be the bright part of the cloud. I want these to be consistent. Okay, then we go down here. So I'm going to go across this with this color. Put lots of snow. Let's put that all over this mountain. Let's do white. I hated that mountain anyway. It was just a beacon of my failed attempt. That's all I can ever see. I have a sickness. When it comes to the paintings, all I can see, and I know that you guys relate, I really try to fight it. I do. All I can see is what I want to do better. But it's not good to throw away what looks good. It's not, you know, you got to give yourself credit when something comes out a little bit better than last time or something previous, you know. You've got to hold on to those moments. They're important. Lots of snow on here. I'm just going to put it everywhere. And I'm adding lots of red so that it's consistent with my cloud color up here. Here, let's kind of blend this a little bit. I want that nice bright cloud right there. I want to see a couple bright spots in here too. Look, I'll just blend the right edge with my finger. I don't have to use the brush since it's dry now. And just do that, put some glow coming out of that cloud. Distracted. Okay, sorry. So when I've got this snow color, then I'm just going to add my shadow color, which also needs to be very similar to the cloud. So we're going to go like this. Grab another brush, put magenta in there, get this nice purpley color, and start putting shadows in this mountain. Okay, go like this, put some here, some here. I just want to see some separation between light and shadow. Just get some areas, have more of that shadow. And you can see it's starting to, for me anyway, it's starting to show I've got consistency now with my light and shadow environment. Put some shadow on this side. Let's put a little more of this red and white. I've got my light brush. I'm just going to go keep going back and forth. Light brush, dark brush. So I'm doing kind of positive space, negative space, till I've got a good base. And then I'll just follow the same system when I'm putting rocks on this mountain. I think that's where I went wrong the first time. First three times is what it was. Not bad. Considering my average, I don't think that's bad at all. So, you know, I did the big boulders on the mountain, and I just kept confining the snow just to the shadow areas. What I need to realize is that, you know, I need to make lots of snow in the light, lots of snow in the shadow, and then just make the rocks consistent with that. So now we've got lots of light and shadow. I'm going to go over here and add some. I just thought this would look good to put a highlight in here. Up here. Make some ridges coming down. And then it's all just got to get darker and more purple as it goes down into that misty base there. This is kind of fun. We've got a totally different kind of mountain now. So at least I'm not just painting the same thing over again. So I don't know if you remember, at the beginning I was saying this is like compression. This is like compressing music. This is one of the things that smushes this picture together to be one scene, is comparing brightness of objects. You know, I'm trying to be very aware of how bright everything is compared to everything. Okay, we've got shadows to put in. Let's take this purple and just work up from the bottom. I'll make a few little dots, maybe some shadow along the top. This. Put some shadow in here. And I'm not thinking too much about what's going to look like a mountain or a rock. I'm just racing the dry time. Really just putting this color in whatever areas just come to me in a split second. Sometimes going faster than what you're able to think about, I think, can be an advantage to you. Adding a little white because that shadow is a bit intensely dark. I want to make it real comparable to the shadow on the clouds. Okay, I'm going here. I'm going to put some in here. It'd be fun to have a ridge right here. Let's go like this. Add some white so that it's not too dark. Oh, I like that light color. Look, let's put that up high. Like some upward facing edges catching a little more light. Maybe that'll become a nice little highlight later. It's nice to have texture in the shadows. I've talked about this, I think, on this series. And so if I have light, dark within my shadows, and that's something that happens a lot when I use this method of mixing directly on the canvas and adjusting colors. It just happens inevitably. I get texture in the shadows. And for me, that really makes a thing feel more three-dimensional, believable. I'm always just looking for believability in a painting, something that can take me away somewhere. I can imagine myself walking up to it and enjoying the environment. That's what I'm usually after when I paint a picture. It's that escape. Now I'm just going to take these shadows and darken them as I come down lower here. So let's add some more blue and red because I want a little grayer color down where it's going into this fog. We do need a little white because that fog has white in it. So we're getting a darker color here, and just I'm going to use some water because this paint has dried quite a bit on me. Let's get some more water here, put some of this over here. I'm going to get a little more of this red and try to blend that down a little bit as well. I'm just looking for a gradual transition into this shadow now. So darker red, darker blue as it goes down. So I'm getting these kind of intermediate purple colors in the process. Got too much white on that one. Let's get a little more red. A little more red and white here. This is kind of a messy edge right there where it didn't blend. So I'm going to reapply some red and blend that down into the blue, get a softer transition so it looks nice and misty. Yeah, I've got to say, I'm sorry to those of you that really wanted to see me nail something first time. Or, I wish I could have done that so that you didn't have to see me paint this over and over. I am glad for my own sake that I came in here and redid this. I needed it. I needed the peace of mind of not being beat by the color theory. No, I can figure this out. I go to sleep thinking it. Okay, let's put a little bit darker color under here. I kind of lost my blending there. Maybe some red instead of magenta. Match that shadow. Yeah, it's better. All right. It's amazing when you come back to the painting and it looks better after thinking it looked bad. Yep, that's true. That happens. This is encouraging to see you not give up or settle. All right, thanks. I'm glad it has meaning for you to see that. This is a real different experience just doing live. I can't edit. I can't edit. I have to be honest about what's happening. Glad to see you had to paint this over and over, because that's how I end up painting. I know we all do that. Like, very few of us end up at the result we're looking for right there without adjusting. And, I would love to rehearse. I could rehearse in advance and make sure that I do everything the way it is planned, but that would kill me too. I don't have energy for that. Makes me feel better about my painting. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you. Probably not letting my layers dry enough. That's how I mess up. Being impatient. Oh, well, yeah, I relate to that too. Yeah, I've run into that on this project multiple times for sure. Let's see. Now it makes sense, says Val Thatcher. The mountain color. Didn't see it first. Now it makes sense. It's amazing what just considering what nature does can do for a painting. I just try to model my work after what I see already happening out there. I just say, well, I'm not the creator of this. God did it first. I'm just trying to recreate and celebrate kind of visually what's already out there. So I really put a lot of stock in trying to observe what makes me like things, what makes all the visual effects that I'm after. Try to just have a real good grip on that, apply it to the painting. Okay, now I'm ready to put some rocks in here. And so now I want to do dark rocks. So my dark shadow color is going to be, I'm going to get something to mix on now. I have many palettes. You might think that I don't use the mixing palettes. I use many. They're on, it's free and included with every can of paint. Okay, so we're going to go, I'm thinking about shadow color for rocks here. And so what I need is maybe just a darker purple. So this had some magenta, and I'm just going to go red and blue for this. I'm going to go kind of heavy on the red for this mix. And I'll add a little bit of white, not a lot. Let's see what that does. I like that color. So I'm just going to put some rocks right here in my shadows. Wherever I've got shadows, that's where I want to see this color. And I was realizing, oh, this is where I kind of lost my mojo. Previously was I lost sight of this general pattern of, we have light color, shadow color of snow fading down. We need light color, shadow color of rocks fading down consistently. Just like when I do the water, I build where the reflection is, and then I always know, am I painting reflection? Am I painting underwater color? I have it mapped out. So the snow maps it out for me here. And so whatever shapes I put in here, that's kind of bright. So I'll go over that. Put little side-to-side ridges, up and down shapes, maybe big rocks, but I'm going to put them all in the shadow with this color right here. So I'm just going to put dark shapes like this. And now the tricky thing is going to be trying to make those meet up with my highlight color for the rocks. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to make more of this color. It's running kind of thin on me. So red and blue, a little bit of white, about like that. Like this. Let's put some in there, here. I think it'd be good to put some right up on the ridge. Okay, now I'm actually going to do a highlight color on these little rocks that are in the shadow, just for the fun, just because I can. So I'm going to add a little more white, nothing fancy, just lightening the color so that I can come over here and just go dunk, 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 make little highlights on all of these, like the light is hitting them. Maybe I'll kind of orient it to, I've got the light coming from the right side on the snow, so I'll do the same thing here, just hitting each of these with this little highlight color, or just some of them, because like I said, texture in the shadows looks cool. So I'm just going to put some highlight of rock texture in these shadows. Put a little bit of highlight on that. Here, put some in there. Okay, now I'm ready for my light color. And so I think over here in the light, let's see if this is dark enough. I'm going to use this maroon color. And I'm going to need to add white to it. So I'm going to get clean my brush a little bit so it's a little more pure. And I want it to be just a little bit darker than the snow. So I noticed as I was studying sunset pictures, I was really slaving over this thinking, man, what am I missing to really get that sunset look on the mountain that has snow and rock? Well, when the light spectrum is limited, it's very red light. The snow is not that much brighter than the rock. The rock has red in it. The snow has red in it. And so what I want to do is have this be a little bit lighter than my shadow colors. Here we go. So now we're going to be in the light. I'm going to connect with some of these rocks. I think this needs a little bit of, look how that's kind of yellow. That's kind of backwards on my shifting hue effect. I don't want the rock to be so yellow looking in comparison with the snow. So I'm adding magenta to this in order to get a less yellow look on these rocks. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go here, put rocks in here, rocks in here. So now we got rocks in the light, rocks in the shadow, and I'm trying to make them look like they're connected, trying to put the dark rocks going back and forth from shadow to light. Put some in there. Let's put some big ones in here, like that. Then maybe just a little bit of highlight on these. Let's grab a little bit of white and just put little bits of highlight on there. I'm going to put rocks in here. I'm thinking ridges coming right across this. I'm going to break up these horizontal lines, go right across here with some ridges. So look, I've got this meeting up with my dark spots. Here's some dark spots in the snow. I'm going to go here, maybe go across, meet it up there, make this one continue over here. There we go. Oh, here's a good spot. Let's do some here. Here's a rock. Go across here. I'm just looking for big rocks like this that just stop abruptly at the line between the shadow and the light, making a light side and a shadow side. So I get more of that effect that I'm looking for of rocks going in and out of the light. So I got shadow and light on here. Gonna put more in here. As it dries, you can see kind of a change of the look. The paint's getting darker. I'm gonna make some big rocks in here. Make these connecting. I've got kind of a little shadow in there. And I think this highlight here wasn't a good idea. What I'm going to do is shadow instead on that. So I'll show you what I mean. Instead of highlighting these rocks, I'm going to shadow these rocks with a little of that purple before I'm ready to call it good. So down here, I'm going to get just darker and purpler as it goes down into this area. So let's get more of this magenta. I'm going to add a tiny bit of blue to my mix. And as these rocks come down this way, I'm just going to put the impression of some darker rocks coming up out of the snow. And I added my darker purpler color to it. And this is, I'm going down in the lighter areas, not down into the blue areas. Like this, we got lighter areas here. It's right in those darker highlights of the snow where it's still kind of barely lit snow. You know, so just like what I did with the snow, I'm doing with the rock as well, just getting darker and more purple as I move down into the shadow. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the shadow color. Where's that brush I was using? Did I use the same brush? I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go purple. Let's get this palette again. So we're going to go blue and red. And get a real nice dark shadow color. Put it on some of these bluer areas down here. Maybe a little bit of white. I want this to look like it's going into the fog. There we go. That's a good color. I'm going to make it connect with these. So this is where I'm going to put the rocks in the blue area. So if I wasn't trying to end a live stream, then I'd really take time to individually build these. I would just have fun building these rocks out using this pattern. But I'm going to settle for a more impressionistic approach. on these for this one. Right, we got our darker rocks and the shadows. Let's put a few more going up into the... I just saw that little spot. Wanted to adjust it. Okay, now I'm going to put some shadows on these upper rocks. So I'm going to grab some purpler color, add some white, plenty of red. Right here, I'm going to use this to put shadow up in here on these. So just a little bit of definition on these rocks so that they're not just that one solid color. Going across here, and I'm going to go to maybe focus on the left side of most of these rocks that are in the light here. Maybe a little bit more white in there. Just kind of identifying the left side of each of these little bright spots, or not bright spots, but sunlit rocks, you know. Just going left side of it all. I'm just systematically going through because I don't have time to think about the shapes of these rocks. I can't be doing that. I'll kill myself. And so now I'm going to get a little bit of my lighter color. And so this is where I'm going to go maybe the most red, add a little bit of white. I just need to be darker than the snow. That's all I need, just darker than the snow. But I might be able to go a little brighter for a good highlight on these rocks for the right side. Yeah, that's probably good because it's going to dry darker. That's what's going to happen. So now I'm going right side of all these spots. And by putting these over the top, it kind of makes some skinnier little sections of shadow, you know, where there's a little bit of dark left in between two light spots. Put some detail in my highlight and shadow. So really the main battle, I think, with this is just trying to be consistent with highlight and shadow for one object, highlight and shadow for another object, and remembering where the highlight and the shadow are as I'm working. You know, not forgetting what's in the shadow and what's in the light. Feel like it needs some big rocky areas in here. Let's go like this. Let's make a big ridge going across here. And we'll take that red highlight and go like this. Just get lots of color in that highlight because I didn't like it when it was kind of gray looking when I did the highlight on my rocks. I'm just trying to now make it a little more diverse so that it's not just speckled with real evenly distributed little shapes. I'm going to look at the small picture. That always helps me. Always helps me to see that. Okay. I'm looking at that little picture to shrink it down for me so I can see more what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make a little bit darker on my rock shadows. I want to see a little more of that. And then I'm going to wrap this up. And I think the snow got a little bit too bright too. So maybe we'll adjust that. Here's my rocks in the shadows. So everywhere I've got this blue, I'm going to put that in there. Got this darker purple color now. Maybe I just wasn't dark enough the first time on these rocks that are more in the shadow. Okay, got darker colors in there. Now I'm going to see if it makes a difference. Oh yeah, I like that better. Look at the dark rocks and those snow shadow areas. Really, that helped a lot. I like that. Look. Okay. Since I like it, I'm going to do a couple more. And do a couple more in here. So for those of you that tuned in more recently, I started this like three live videos ago, and I'm working on finishing it right now. And so this is my process, somewhat of a painstaking process for just compressing all the colors together to make it look like one unified scene after I've got my concept put together with a lot of primaries that I've used to paint it. So here I'm just going through and trying to darken my mountain colors quite a bit, because I realized, oh man, I've got this pure white snow on this, and that's not consistent with the brightness level of the cloud. So it's making my cloud look like a big blob of paint and my mountain look like a superimposed fake image, and I don't want that. I want them to look like they belong in the same scene together. And so that's the battle that I'm doing right now, is this final pass on my painting to make sure that everything stays nice and consistent and is part of the same picture. Nice dark rocks in here. And then I'm going to get that nice blue snow color. And just maybe enhance these shadow areas a little bit. Clean them up, make them stand out, separate my light and shadow a little better. So here's my blue and magenta. Let's really darken this down. Got blue, magenta. Let's get a little more, maybe red in there. Maybe a little more red. I want to make sure this is dark enough now to really look like a shadow. I think I jumped the gun a little bit on the brightness, thinking, oh, this looks like a great highlight, but it's not jiving for me. So I'm going to darken this all down a little bit. Anyway, I have these dark shadow rocks. That's where I'm putting this color. Got some right in here. Got some right here. So I need to make sure I've got shadow in there. Shadow right here. That all needs to be shadow because it's got those dark rocks. Right here, we've got shadow. Oh yeah, I'm liking this now already. Let's just kind of streak that right up through there. Shadow right there. Right here needs one. Look at this. Man, look at the difference that makes when I put this darker blue in those shadows. Man, it's just sometimes I feel like I'm always just a little hairline away from the, getting the dial right. Just a little bit away. Do you have a reference photo? Yes, I do have a reference photo. I sent it out on email, but it's just in my memory. But the reference photo, it's everything I described. And so maybe you can talk somebody into forwarding that image, but licensing issues. I just pulled it off of Google. I saw a mountain with the sun at my back hitting the top of the mountain, and the rocks were lit up red in the sunlight, purple in the shadow. The snow was lit up red in the sunlight, purple in the shadow, and it all got darker and bluer as it came down. And that's the exact pattern that I'm striving to recreate here. So when I study, I always study before I do a painting, and my goal is to understand what's happening in the picture so that I can remember that pattern and then go and recreate it. Okay, so let's look for dark areas. Here's some dark areas. Look, I'm going to put a little more of this snow around that shadow area. This kind of doesn't belong in here. Let's just block that all together. Just get rid of it. Okay, and then down here we've got blue down there, and we'll put it in here where these shadow colors are. Just make sure I've got it. Everywhere I see that dark rock color, that's where I want to see this nice blue. Put some blue in there just a little bit. Here's a dark color. I'm just scanning the picture for dark spots. I'm not trying to paint rocks and snow right now. I'm just scanning the picture so that I can stick with my system. Okay, we've got dark spots in here. Let's go up here. Make a valley that comes down and meets up with these. Right here we've got one. Okay, and if some of you are tuning in later, I've got this piece of paper here to control the exposure. The exposure goes too bright on my camera. I'm so under-equipped for this, and so in order to keep the exposure where you can really see the colors I'm working with, I put that paper on there. Okay. Almost done. Where else do I have those spots? There's a dark spot there. Here's one. Just finding those dark spots. Okay. I'm going to rinse out that brush. yeah, I'm much more pleased with that than what I accomplished before. So you can see that it. So I'm trying to get out of the way, trying to get out of the way of the picture, looking at it small, and I can totally see the rock color blending with that cloud note. They're in harmony with each other a lot better. Let's rinse this brush, get it ready for my last little bit of detail. And so I'm going to put, where did I put that lid that I mixed all my bright snow in? I need another palette. Lots of palettes. Go red and white. So what I'm going to do down in here, I was going to put a guy going fishing, because I'm living vicariously through my painting. Sorry, I'm distracted here. While I'm talking about that, I'm distracted by a little highlight that I want to put in. I just want to see the snow really coming up over this ridge. Like this. Like we got a bright spot in here. Let's cut through there. I think the more consistent I'm able to get with my bright snow hitting my bright rocks, my shadow snow hitting the shadow rocks, the more this becomes a unified three-dimensional mountain, But I think I'm getting a bit bright on the snow. I got to watch out for that brightness. I can't get carried away. I'm going to make a little path going down right here. Having too much fun painting this mountain and I'm killing time. Okay. Now, put our guy in the background. So I'm going to scoot over here. Now you got a good view here. Let me just scoot the camera over. And what I'll put right in there, I got to put a person enjoying this, just like I would. Let's scoot this over. Because I'm thinking that, I'm going to take, before I get deep into it, the next and final part of this painting. I'm just going to see, okay, good. Do we got a Google comment? Mountain was looking great. Keep painting it over and over and over. It's time to stop. That was the effect I was looking for. And so I don't want to destroy the quality of the live stream by just endlessly doing this. Okay, we've got in the comments. Looks great as usual. Thank you very much. What would it cost to shadow you for a week? Hey, thank you for considering me worthy of that. My lifestyle cannot take on an apprentice or someone to shadow me. That's why I make these videos, though. I'm highly complimented by that. Thank you. But I do love company. And so it's free to come and say hi to me in Flagstaff, Arizona. I just can't commit, anybody else wondering that. Can't make commitments about shadowing agreements or apprenticeships. Will there be a moon? Oh, yes, there's got to be a moon. There would be a moon, Well, if there was a moon, it would be a full moon because the sun is way back here hitting the face of the moon. Okay. We're doing a moon. Okay, thank you, Epitome Hawk, for that great idea. I think that it should go right. I can't put it dead center. That's going to look wrong. That's going to look weird. I think it needs to peek right out from behind this cloud. Even though I did love that. We're going to go like this. I did love this area. But I'm going to add magenta to the yellow so I get a less intense orange. I want an orange, but I don't want a super intense orange. So adding magenta to the yellow makes a less bright orange than if I added red to the yellow. Right here, and then we're going to add white to that. Nice and bright. And we got to get a nice round shape too. It's not going to look like a moon if I don't get it nice and round, huh? I'll show you how to make this moon glow after it dries. We got to wait for it to dry. I'm going here. And I think it'd be cool if I kind of had brighter and darker spots on this moon as well. Let me work on the round. You know, if you're trying to make a nice circle, a good way to do that is look at it from different angles, because I perceive circle as something different when I look at it one way as I do when I turn my head sideways. So I am aware of my flawed perception of a circle. So I turn my head sideways so to see if it still looks circle when I turn it. Then once it looks circle from all different ways I tilt my head, then I know that I'm on my way to a better circle. Okay, so now I'm just going to try to clean up the edge of this, just down like that. Okay, then I'm going to clean up the edge right here. Down like this. And then we're going to go over here, try to clean up this edge a little bit. I don't want a crooked moon. Look at my shaky hand. And then strategically, I put it behind some clouds so I don't have to paint the whole circle. There we go. All right. We've got a moon. I'm going to put some brighter spots on it. Let's break it up so it really looks like a moon. You know, it kind of has the patches of brighter and darker areas. There we go. Now you're looking at an overexposed picture. There we go. This is what it looks like to me. Sorry about that. That is why I was late getting this live stream up and going this morning, because I was trying to use some software to make that exposure a little bit easier for me to handle. Okay, now watch this. A little bit of magenta right in here where this cloud hits it. Magenta and blue and white to lighten it. Just bring that right up in here. Make that moon lighten up this. I got to use the magenta because it'll turn green when it mixes with the blue. But I can make this cloud coming up in front of this moon a little bit. Like that. There, sometimes it's quicker just to blend it that way. Let's do the same thing up in here. Let's do magenta. Blend it into there, blend magenta into there, then grab a little of our blue. Make these darker spots. Light, you know, when blue light mixes with things, even a yellowish color, blue and yellow, kind of make a slightly violet color in nature. Not so with paint. So I always have to add this magenta, for those of you that haven't heard me say that a million times already, in order to get a more natural mixing of light look. Let's put a little more magenta up in here where this one goes across. There, now it's got some good texture, you know, of the cloud coming across the moon. I'm going to add a little bit more of my dark shadow color in there because I kind of lost my cloud shape a little bit. There we are. Then you know what else will be cool? Is a little bit of light on these clouds. Now that I have a moon, I better do a little bit of a highlight on these clouds. So let's just do red. Now I'm not using magenta because I don't want it to be quite as purple. It's not right in front of that yellow. Now I'm just using red and white to do a very subtle highlight coming across here. Goes right into there. Then I'll put blue under that. Blend it right in up to the edge. I don't want a super bright highlight on my edge, just a little bit. Like that. Let's put my darker purple color back in the middle of this cloud. I kind of lost it in the process of blending. Put more of that white on this. Just that tiny bit of red in there makes this nice little highlight on that cloud. Then I'm going to do a little more right in here. Let's do some white here. Let's get a little more generous with this white and get this done. White right there, white right here. And then let's do the red inside of that. Okay, red there. Then my last color is going to be the blue and magenta to get my dark blue violet color back. But I'm going to make sure I add some red into this. Let's use some water. We can really soften it all with some water too. Just in case any of you are wondering at the moment, it is water-based paint. That question comes up quite a bit. Okay, then the blue and the purple, magenta. Put that right in here. Let's go a little more red. I think I had kind of a mix of magenta and red to get just this particular shade of cloud. Got to blend that right up onto that edge so I don't have a whole ton of that highlight. It's just a little highlight. That needs some, see that green right there? Got to catch that. Go here. I'm going to put some blue on it right after that to make it darker again. The blue is a very dark color. So I can just put that right on the middle where I want it to be darkest. Maybe a little red to Make it not quite so blue. Right in there. That dark shadow just makes those bright edges pop right out, huh? It's fun. Just gonna use some water to, whoops, green. Don't want green. Hmm. There we go. Just want that to disappear into there. Okay, then over here. Yeah, it's fun having a moon in the picture. Put that on there to manage the exposure and to be annoying. Man, I hate that I have to do that. Time to update the equipment. Checking out the comments. Doesn't he need to add mist over those dark colors above the water? Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. Maybe that's a good idea. Okay, this is what I'm gonna add right in here. Gonna put a guy right in here. Pure black. Okay, I got to think about something. This is the way I paint people. I think about what they're doing. I got to think about what the body parts are doing. 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. All right, so we're gonna put one arm out here like this. We're gonna go one arm out this way. Okay, arm, hand, shoulder. This one straight out like this, body down. And I've got it tilted because the rest of the picture is tilted. I'm ruining the picture right now. Okay. Arm, head. Okay, finished. Got it. Guy fishing in the water. Joe, you must trust yourself so much to just blob paint on such a great image. Thank you for calling it a great image. Thank you. It's not really done. Okay. I don't trust myself. I just am willing to lose the painting. Okay, let's go like this. We're going to put a head under here. We're going to put like a round fisherman's cap on him, like this. Maybe round that top a little bit, like that. Neck, orient it a little bit to the back of the head. We got to put the shoulder up higher because we're looking up at this guy. Let's put a few wrinkles in the sleeves. Let's bring the shoulder out. Let's go like this. Bring the shoulder out a little bit more. Little more. How wide do I want the shoulder? Maybe like this. Okay, now I got to bring the armpit down a little bit more. And he's got to have his waders on. So we're going to kind of pop it out right about here. Make some wrinkles in there. Like this. Make one leg coming down. I might have to make this whole image a little bigger to make sure that it looks normal. You know, there's a lot of things you can mess up in a painting. Rocks, trees, sticks, whatever. You can't mess up a person. If you do that, the painting is lost. You've got to have the person. Okay. But the leaning, the angle of it leaning is a bit extreme. Got to adjust that. I've got this, for anybody that's wondering, I've got this canvas stretched on a box that I built on my wall. And I just put it in there with some concrete nails. And it's really firmly fixed. So I can lean on this because it's got a plywood backing. And I just stretched it with these clips that you see around the edges. And that's going to let me do multiple paintings right here without having to have multiple canvases stored, you know. Okay, now he's suffering from a small arm, so I need to give this guy his arm back. Let's go out this way. And then let's make his head bigger. But I'm going to go out this way because his leaning is a little bit too extreme for me. Okay, let's make the top of the hat. Like that. You can get away with a lot more inaccuracy too in a silhouette than you can if you're trying to do all of the light and shadow and everything of a person, like 3D lighting of it all. Let's go a little bigger. A little more here. And let's bring this arm down a little bit here. It's gradually getting there. Okay, we've got an arm. This is a forearm, so we go a little different curve on the inside than we've got on the outside there. Let's make the sleeve kind of bunched up. Let's go a little bit higher. A little bit higher on this forearm. I'll tell you a trick about a forearm. Waist to hip is elbow to wrist. So this length, I need a longer forearm. Right there. Let's put a hand on this now. Okay, we're going to have fingers wrapping around the pool right here. 1, 2, 3. Go like this. Then we're going to go like this. Make the thumb bumping out right there. Okay, now I'm not going to torture everybody exacting all the details of this guy on this video. I'm going to get the concept in there and then call it. Okay, now he needs a pull. He needs a pull. It's got to be going up like this. My brush is starting to lose its sharpness. Okay, so I want to go. Should it be bent a little bit? This way, this way? I'm trying to think which way I want to bend that pole. It's a fly rod. Thinking about it. Let's just see what happens. Okay. I'm gonna wipe off my brush here. Okay, now to get a nice straight line, I have to really steady my hand. I have to use two hands because I don't have steady hands. Like that. And I can see that my line is a little bit bowed right there. So I'm going to try to shave it off a little bit on this side. Now I want this fishing rod to be in perspective. I'm really going to need to shave that down skinnier. It's too fat to be a fishing pole. Let's go like this. I'm sorry you're constipated. That is a weird comment. That is one of the weirdest things that I've seen on the chat. But thank you for the entertainment. It happens. Okay, I'm just shaving off the edges of this. Get a nice sharp line. Yeah, there we go. Nice skinny pole. I'm just trying to remember, a fly rod's got a handle on it. Kind of pull it out. I'm just trying to remember if the reel is below your hands. I'm going to try something real quick. I'm going to look. You don't see my computer screen, but I'm going to do guy fly fishing. Guy fly fishing. Guy fly fishing. Okay. Images. Oh, okay. It looks like most people hold the reel below the hand. Yeah. Okay, we got to do that. All right, that's all I needed. Reel below the hand. Okay. Go like this. Put the handle. Reel is down here. And then we gotta make the string of that fly rod. Yeah, let's go like this. Let's move this so that I can put this in here. I'm gonna really make this stretch out a little bit more. But it's in perspective. I want it kind of going back and up. So I'm gonna try to get the look. So this brush is kind of fish mouthed, it's where it's splitting out like that. And that makes it a real hassle to try to make skinny little lines. And I think I left all my good brushes laying around somewhere else. So now I've got to make it work with this one. So here's what I do. I lay it down on an edge like this. I choose one edge of it to get a skinny line. So I'm going to go like this, make a skinny line come across here. Like this. I'm just using that black paint over and over. Let's go down and around like this. You know what I could use for this? I could just use a Sharpie. It'd be easier. I'm not much of a purist when it comes to paint. I love lines. Man, a good line just makes a picture for me, you know. Like that, and then we got to make a line come down here. Because when you fly fish, I don't know if you've ever gone fly fishing, but if you want something to do while you're not catching fish, then you got to try fly fishing. So we're going to do this. This is going to come down. This goes through the little eyelets. So we're going to go eyelet, 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 like this. And then you've got this kind of coming down here. We go like this. Oh, too fat. That's supposed to be just a little fishing line. Where's my rag? I think that's not the best place to put that anyway. I'm gonna put it coming out from under the index finger. Let's get some more black. Go like this, put a little finger on this guy, and then put the line coming down right here. Man, this is hard. You know, my dad, he's very good at pinstriping. He's always very good at that. Skills that I never gained, you know. There we go. Let's wipe some of this black off. I can come in and repair the line. You know, we'll leave it like that. I can on my own time bring the background colors back in and repair the look of that line a little bit. Then we'll go in here and make this line coming out. Down into the water right there. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't want to do that. It actually would kind of go back up. It would come down from the reel, wouldn't it? Like go down from, let's see, you pull it out from the reel, you hold it with your hand, so it comes out of the reel, and then you feed it up with your hand right here. Well, whatever. Let's just go like this. Make another one coming down. Right into the water. I'll study fly fishermen on my own time. That's the that's the vibe I'm looking for. Let's put a little bit of color on them. Put a little bit of color on that hat. Maybe some wrinkles on the sleeve. Just a little bit is going to be good. Let's put a face. Real quick face. Nose. Chin. Like that. Just leave a little dark spot, a little dark shadow for the eye socket. We'll put another shadow in there for the nose and mouth. But I want to keep everything real dark. That, just put a few little wrinkles across here. And I want this highlight here to be not nearly as bright, so we're going to go like that, and then maybe reapply some black underneath that. Get a real skinny rim on the hat. Let's get some black and go eye, nose, mouth. Oh, now it's looking like a human. Like this. Maybe a little more. A little more of that sunset light hitting the clothes right here. A little bit right there on the chest. Let's go. Just kind of wrap it around there. Go this way. This is the way the wrinkles of a shirt would go. Kind of like this. But the more I paint on there, the less of the work the imagination does for me. So I'm going to keep this real obscure. I'm not going to turn this into a detail job on the person there. I just want to get rid of anything that's sending a wrong message. You know, anything that's making this look like a non-human or not like the character I'm not trying to create. You know, I'm going to put the nose a little higher. Let's put a little bit of this lighter color in there. Bring the mouth and chin up a little higher. There we go. Just a real subtle suggestion of a face in there. Maybe I need to kind of touch up the back of the neck. The back of the neck looks a little bit huge, you know. Well, that looks really weird now. Here, let's try again. Here, let's put the face a little more over to the right. Like this. 1, 2. The viewer's imagination is your best friend in these situations. You know, you get something to where it just gives a little bit of a lead to the mind. And then let the viewer fill in the rest. Let's go a little bit higher on this hat now. Maybe a little bit of that maroon color. And a tiny bit of highlight. Yeah, there we are. I got a guy fishing. Yeah, cool. I like that. Okay. So I'm gonna just tidy up the edges a little bit. And something I didn't get to, but I want to do. I'm gonna stop the video in a minute here. I wanted to darken the water, but I'm just gonna do that. You know, we won't make it part of the live stream because I gotta get going. But you know, I definitely am wishing that I was this person. I did an amazing trip with my buddy Todd, and I didn't have to pay for it. We went to the Boundary Waters. Man, never done anything like that. Those of you that have done that, man, you know what I'm talking about. It's just an amazing, off the charts experience. Yeah, all right, Susan. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we want to imagine that catching those space trout. All right. So, something I wanted to do with this painting, I didn't have a lot of time for, and I'll just show you what I'm going to do. Is adjust the darkness. So I've got this dark silhouette of a guy, and so I want nice dark waves. So I'm just going to real quick put some in so you can see the difference that the contrast makes. Watch this. Let me just put some black in there, just pure black, because I want deep. I want dark water. I want good contrast. You know, so I'm just going to get a lid to mix this on just so that I can stop using my silhouette of a man for a palette. I wanted to really intensify the contrast here of these waves. And this is much easier to do now that I've got it mapped out. But something that really helps waves is having your other colors ready and mixed, ready to go. Right here, my brush is kind of suffering. I need a better brush. You can see it's not tapering out on the end, so I have to lay it down like this to get my tapered shape, which is not as convenient. You can see the difference that contrast makes, really just brings the whole thing forward. And then this is what I'm talking about with the reflection color. I'll put a little bit of magenta and white in this black. And let's add a little more of that white. So now we're doing reflection. And while those spots are still wet, it's a good time to come in here and blend those edges into that reflection, get a little bit of a softer transition into my reflection colors. So I wanted to adjust this because all that turquoise that I have in the transition is not ideal. It doesn't look quite as much like natural light if I get a lot of turquoise where the light meets the shadow. I want to see a little more of my gray purple colors where the light meets the shadow. That's why I added all that magenta into that black just now before I did this. Let's just see what it looks like. Somebody said, looks like the mist needs to come down lower on the water. But what if instead I put the waves up higher on the water. What if we do that instead? Let's try it. Adding a little bit of blue to it, making some more distant waves. So let's go like this. Whoop, that was not dark enough. I'm not going to see that. So here's this black color. Now I'm trying to be real careful with the angle of my brush strokes, because this is what makes water look like water, is that it all rests very consistently level, and you have this same horizontal angle across every wave in the distance, because even if they're changing direction, the perspective just scrunches it all flat, and you have hardly any difference between the angle of these waves. So the more I am inconsistent with that, then the less it looks like water. So just a quick tip on water: strive to be very consistent with your angle, that you put these little slices of wave in there. Notice that I'm going over areas where I already have these dark waves, because my reflection and underwater colors are already decided. I've got those already decided for me, so I don't need to rethink where those go. You know, that was mapped out for me right there when I first did this water. Yeah, that's looking like something. You know, it just takes that water up further away. My brush is getting multiple streaks now because it's all destroyed. Well, I want to invite you all to join me next Monday. I'm going to do the next live stream, and it'll be a new painting. And so I would love it if you could join along, give me a hard time, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I always appreciate the feedback. I'm going to end this one here in just a minute, as soon as I'm done obsessing over this water here. It's kind of be cool to see some kind of a like vegetation or something back in here. Let's do this. Do one last little touch. Put some black in there. Put some white. Maybe a little bit of yellow. There we go. Now I've got a greenish looking bush in the night light. Now let's grab this magenta and continue that misty effect right down to here. Let's get more of that magenta and blue. Oh, see that green? I don't love that green. The green is the enemy. No, it's not the enemy. It's just it always is popping up in the wrong place, you know. I don't want green right there because I want this to look like light. Put more of that magenta in there until I don't see any more of that turquoise color. There we go. Put a little more of that cloud up in there, a little more right here. It's early morning on this planet. It's when the fish are biting. I just have to see if this will look good in here. Just a little bit of a highlight on that guy. There's the side of his head. Underside of his arm. Yeah, let's make his hand too. Make that fishing line coming right in there, just like that. Okay. I'm going to call it. We got to stop. Now, I will take time to come back and further enhance the details that are like, oh, here's the last trick. You can put edge lighting on something. You know, just get a gray. I don't want to get a super bright gray. So here, let me darken this down a little bit. And if I put that all along this edge, it makes it look more 3D. So it just takes the background and makes it look like we've got a little bit of light reflecting off the edges of my character here. And maybe up off of the water too, you know. Let's put it in there, put it in there. A little bit of lighting around the edge. And this. Like that. There. I was having a hard time visualizing that. Yeah, just a little bit of edge lighting, you know, it can do wonders for the three-dimensional look of something. But it can be overdone. Let's go like this. There. Now we got a little better shadow on there still. I want to preserve a lot of the shadow. I want it to stay dark. Sometimes this more abstract look is more attractive, you know. I love the more attractive. I love the more abstract look a lot of the time. All right, sweet. I'm gonna take a look at the last comments before I end the stream. And if I end up working on this, I don't know if I will, but if I make any more progress, I'll make sure that I post it and let you see it, what I do with the details from here on. But I'm very pleased with the final look of that. Okay, so let me just scoot this back a little bit. Oh, it's nice when the exposure adjusts down, get some more white in the picture. All right, now you can see the final thing while I kind of scoot out of the way to look at the comments here. Grab my little stool. It's not that little. my little swivel chair. All right, we've got Joe, you're making it up as you go? Well, no. I made it up as I was going in more in the beginning, but by the time I got this far, I'm really just trying to accomplish the vision that I originally set out to do. Very unique and gorgeous. Thank you very much, Ari. Looking amazing, MJ. Thank you very much. Sharon, thank you for all the nice compliments, guys. Really. Fisherman, nice addition and surprise. All right, thanks. I've never done that kind of a picture, and that's a really great way to spend time here in Arizona, in the West, with the streams and rivers. Do some fly fishing. I'm always jealous. My dad's down in Payson. He's got some great fishing lately down there, and I was never good at it, but man, it's a fun thing to do. Oh, Artie, you must be tired. Yeah, I'm tired, but tiredness feels good when I feel like I accomplished my mission before I stopped. I finally got the light and shadow I was looking for on the mountains. I've got days, and I've got indefinite time to really tweak the details. But if I can't accomplish my concept when I set out to do it, man, that I'm just so defeated. That's a terrible feeling, but it drives me to try again. That's what ends up happening. So as I work on this in the future, I'll probably put another peak, in the background there, add a couple more little layers to show some depth. But it'll get real boring real fast as I go back and forth on tiny little pieces of the painting. It's time to move on. Like the mountains better than previous version you did. Thank you. That's what I hope to hear. This is the vision that I was striving to accomplish and failing to accomplish in the previous video. So it might be fun for you to go back and look at my different approach and how I adjusted it in order to get to these mountains. This really is what I was wanting to do. A lot of the time I think I can. And then I fail, It's good. It's a good reality to be in touch with. Keep it up. We're here. All right. Thank you. Sorry, man. I gotta call it a day. I will keep it up on Monday. Monday's when I'm going to do this again. And you know what I'm thinking will also be fun? I'm thinking about finding another live platform where I can do simple draw-alongs, maybe with your kids, like how to draw a dog, how to draw a cat, some fun stuff, maybe like some pro artist tips for the simple drawings. And it might be a fun thing to do, I'm thinking about different kind of live events I can do. Hello from South Africa. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Riaz. DTH Rocket. I think a cool thing about painting is that you can do things you couldn't with a camera. That is true. The faint stars, the light on the mountains, the action of the pole. Yeah, you're right. I can cheat, put light where it would not be, bright where it would never be bright, regardless of whether or not you would actually see all of the lighting on the edge of that guy. It looks great in the painting, and regardless of whether or not the moon during the sunrise would actually backlight clouds. It probably wouldn't, but hey, man, it's cool in the painting. And just like you said too, yeah, you do all the stars and stuff. Yeah, great point. Yeah, that is a fun thing about painting. I always feel like is that I talk about rules with painting. Well, this is what would happen, but to me, those are tools to give me the power to create what I'm imagining. It's not restrictions that I have to follow. They're just things that get me so far. And then, rules are made to be broken. I think that it's great to see how far you can push that edge. Fantastic idea, Joe. All right. I'm going to work on it and do some drawing with kids. Hello from Sweden. All right. Oh man, you guys staying healthy up there? I miss my friend Shoki Shamadevani. Passed away. He was going to come and do some more work with me here. He taught me to say "Jag heter Shoki min konst." We were saying that on a YouTube. He was teaching me some of his language there. Hello from Sweden, but it's Thursday. No, I am looking forward to seeing him on Monday. Yes, all right. Monday it is. We're going to do it. And boy, I do like this morning time. I like this morning hour, but I think I'm going to try to mix it up. We're going to mix it up. Monday, I'll send an email out. Let's try this. Let's try the same thing on Monday morning. I think this worked good. So let's try again 9 a.m. 9 a.m. on Monday. Hello from France. Yes. All right. Thank you for tuning in from France. Okay. I'm just going to read a couple more comments. If anybody has any questions you want me to answer before I hang up the computer. Otherwise, I'm going to see you on the next video. Look forward to it. You can do anything. No. Thank you for saying that and believing in me, though. Just sent you my attempt at painting with you. Hey, good job. Epitome Hawk is being bold and painting along. That's hard to do. It's hard for me to paint along with somebody. That's a hard thing to do in general. So good job for tackling that. What great training that must be. Yay, thanks so much for sharing your process. Howdy from East Texas. Yeah, all right, East Texas. Cool. I loved my visit to Texas. I went to, we got relatives that live out there. I went to Plano, Texas, did a job. You can search that on the YouTube channel. Cloud Ceiling in Plano, Texas. One of my favorite jobs still today. Hey, thanks guys for the great compliments. Rules suck in art. Yeah, I relate to that. I learned not much in school regarding art. Yeah. I think absence of good material, I really believe the because of YouTube, the art industry is changing, it's evolving. There's better information gradually finding its way into the actual mechanical how-tos of the art industry. It's been rough for a lot of people in school, getting bad grades for things that you can't control. I just come from hospital. I come in time to see the end. Congratulations from Portugal. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for making it, Victor. We'll see you on Monday, I hope. Okay, I'm going to check out. I'm going to hang up so that we can go. Family has got plans to go out and do something out of the house today. We're going to get out and enjoy some nature. So I want to thank you guys again for making my job worthwhile, making it fun. And I'm going to go try my hand at being a dad for a little bit.